The research vessel Stellar Seeker drifted silently through the debris field. The ship's engines hummed quietly as it approached the ancient space station. The structure floated alone against the backdrop of a dying star, its metal hull scarred by time and micro-impacts. Chief Archaeologist Tay stood on the observation deck, his 4 fingers pressed against the glass. His team had spent years searching for artifacts from old civilizations, but this find was beyond their hopes. Captain Hannah, he called into his communicator. You should see this. Captain Hannah soon joined him, her 6 eyes widening at the sight. The station was massive, at least 3 kilometers in length, with strange circular sections and long spires that seemed to reach toward the stars. How old? She asked simply. Initial scans suggest at least 4,000 years, Tay replied. Yet some systems still draw power. The captain's skin shifted color slightly, a sign of concern among her species. 4,000 years and still operational? That doesn't match any known technology. Science Officer Jean entered the deck, carrying a data tablet. Captain, I've completed the first analysis. The design matches no known species in our records, but... He hesitated. But what? Hannah prompted. The architecture shows a 98% match to theoretical human construction principles. The word hung in the air. Humans. The species of legend, whose home planet had been destroyed during the early days of interstellar expansion. The species believed extinct for millennia, existing now only in historical texts and myths. That's impossible, Hannah said finally. All humans died when their solar system was destroyed by the Krell Imperium. Apparently not all of them, Tay said, his voice filled with academic excitement. If this is truly a human station, this could be the greatest discovery of our age. Captain Hannah was not convinced. The stories say humans were unpredictable and dangerous before their extinction. We will proceed with caution. Launch the remote probes first. The small probes left the Stellar Seeker and approached the station. They passed through a breach in the outer hull and began transmitting images back to the ship. The crew gathered around the main screen, watching in silence as the probes moved through dark corridors. Look at the writing on the walls, Jean pointed out. Those are human letters. This is truly their station. The probes continued deeper, passing through rooms filled with dust and abandoned equipment. Then one probe entered a massive chamber and switched to wide-angle view. Stars above, whispered Tay. The chamber stretched as far as the probe's lights could reach. It was filled with row upon row of metal pods, each the size of a body. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands. Are those? Hannah couldn't finish the question. Jean adjusted the probe controls, bringing it closer to one of the pods. The surface was frosted over, but through the ice, they could make out a face. A human face. Stasis chambers, Jean confirmed. They're all in stasis. The bridge fell silent as the implications became clear. These weren't just artifacts. These were living humans, preserved for thousands of years. We need to report this immediately, said Captain Hannah. The council must be informed. Wait, Tay said quickly. Before we tell anyone, we should learn more. This could be the greatest scientific opportunity in history. Jean directed the probe to a control panel near the pods. Perhaps I can access their system and learn their purpose. As the probe extended its connection arm toward the panel, warning lights suddenly flashed throughout the chamber. A loud alarm began to sound, audible even through the probe's limited audio sensors. What did you do? Hannah demanded. Nothing. Jean responded. I didn't even connect yet. On the screen, they watched as lights began to activate on the stasis pods. One by one, status indicators changed from red to green. The awakening had begun. We need to leave, Hannah ordered. Recall the probes immediately. But before the probes could retreat, the screen showed movement. One of the pods was opening. From inside, a figure sat up slowly. A human female, with dark hair cut short and eyes that quickly adjusted to the light. She looked directly at the probe, her expression changing from confusion to alert understanding in seconds. She spoke, and though none of the aliens understood the words, the tone was unmistakable. This was not a confused survivor. This was someone in command, already assessing the situation. As Hannah ordered the Stellar Seeker to pull back to a safer distance, none of the crew could look away from the screen. After thousands of years of supposed extinction, humanity was awakening. And the galaxy would never be the same. Military Commander Kyung opened her eyes in the dark pod. Her mind cleared quickly despite 3,000 years of sleep. She felt the familiar weight of her neural interface behind her right ear. It buzzed softly as it connected with the station's systems. "Status report," she said to the empty room. A soft blue light filled the pod as the station's AI responded. "Emergency revival protocol activated. Unknown vessel detected nearby. Current year is 5247 by Old Earth calendar." Kyung processed this information calmly. 3,000 years had passed. The evacuation plan had worked. She was alive. "Station status," she asked. "Station operating at 87% capacity. Power reserves at 92%. 10,422 stasis pods intact. Revival sequence initiated for command personnel." Kyung's pod opened fully, and she sat up. The revival chamber was cold but functional. Her muscles responded well, the stasis field had prevented any significant decay. She stood and walked to a nearby terminal, leaving wet footprints on the metal floor. "Show me the vessel that triggered our systems." The screen displayed an alien ship unlike any she had seen before. Its design was organic, with curved lines and strange protrusions that looked almost like branches. Definitely not Krell design. The Krell, their enemies who had destroyed Earth and hunted humans across the stars, always built their ships with sharp angles and red markings. Unknown species, the AI confirmed. No match in database. And their actions? They sent remote probes into the station. One probe approached a control panel in Pod Chamber 7, triggering security protocols. Kyung nodded. "Begin revival sequence for all primary personnel. Security team first, then medical, engineering, and science divisions." She walked to a wall panel that slid open at her approach. Inside was a simple black uniform with the rank insignia of commander. As she dressed, other pods in the chamber began to open. Soon she was joined by Security Chief Day, a tall man with scars across his left cheek. "Commander," he said with a quick salute. "Are we under attack?" "Unknown at this time," Kyung replied. "An alien vessel discovered us. They appear to be researchers, not military." Day's expression remains serious. "After what happened to Earth, we should assume hostile intent." "Agreed. Activate defensive systems but keep them passive for now. I want information before we show our strength." Within an hour, 37 key personnel were awake and at their stations. The command center hummed with activity as humans worked to understand what had happened during their long sleep. Medical Officer Sang approached Kyung with a data tablet. "Commander, I've analyzed the information we downloaded from the alien vessel. According to their historical records, humans are considered extinct." "Extinct?" Kyung repeated. "Yes. After the Krell destroyed our solar system, they hunted down our colony worlds. The records show that the last known human settlement was destroyed 2,967 years ago." Kyung allowed herself a small smile. "Then our deception worked. The emergency plan was successful. When the Krell had launched their surprise attack on Earth, humanity's leaders had implemented a desperate strategy. While most of the fleet engaged in visible battles, sacrificing themselves to create a convincing narrative of human extinction, selected ships and stations like this one activated their stasis systems and went dark, hiding in remote locations throughout the galaxy." "What about the Krell?" she asked. Engineer Min looked up from his console. "They still exist. They control 17 star systems in what they call the Outer Rim. They're part of something called the United Galactic Council now." Kyung walked to the main view screen, which showed the alien vessel maintaining its distance from the station. "And these aliens? Who are they?" They call themselves the Navar, answered Science Officer June. A species that evolved after our time. They appear to be researchers and explorers. They've sent a message, Communications Officer Bo announced. Audio only, in several languages. One is close enough to Old Spanish that our systems can translate. Play it, Kyung ordered. A strange, melodic voice filled the command center. Unknown station, this is Ambassador Tay of the research vessel Stellar Seeker. We come in peace and wish to establish communication. The United Galactic Council welcomes peaceful contact with all intelligent species. Kyung considered her options. These aliens had accidentally awakened humanity from its long sleep. Now she needed to learn about the current state of the galaxy before revealing too much. Send a response, she told Bo. Inform them that I will meet with one representative to discuss peaceful terms. And activate the inner defenses. If this is some kind of trap, I want to be ready. As her crew prepared for first contact, Kyung walked to a private terminal and entered a special command code. A hidden screen appeared, showing thousands of small dots throughout the galaxy map. Begin silence signal to all outposts, she instructed the system. Code phrase, Phoenix Rising. Across the vast emptiness of space, other hidden human stations would soon receive the wake-up call. Humanity wasn't extinct. It had been waiting. Ambassador Tay smoothed down his ceremonial robes as he prepared to enter the human station. His four-fingered hands trembled slightly. His people, the Navar, prided themselves on having studied all known intelligent species. Yet here were humans, creatures thought gone forever, standing before him like ghosts from the past. The docking tube connected with a soft hiss. Two human guards waited on the other side. They wore simple black uniforms with no visible weapons, but their eyes watched him carefully. They gestured for him to follow. Tay was led through corridors that were surprisingly clean for a station thousands of years old. The air smelled slightly metallic but breathable. Other humans passed by, some nodding at him with curious looks. He noted their varied skin tones and heights, more diverse than most species he had encountered. Finally, they reached a simple meeting room with a table and chairs. A human female stood as he entered. She was not tall, but something in her posture commanded attention. I am Commander Kyung, she said through a translation device at her throat. Welcome to Outpost Phoenix. Tay bowed in the traditional Navar greeting. I am Ambassador Tay of the United Galactic Council. This meeting is historic. Humans are considered extinct in our records. Reports of our extinction were premature, Kyung replied with a slight smile. Please, sit. They sat across from each other. A human male entered silently and placed two containers on the table, water for the human and a scan-approved beverage for Tay. How did your people survive? Tay asked. The destruction of your homeworld is well documented. Kyung took a sip of water before answering. When the Krell attacked Earth, we knew we couldn't win a direct war. Our leaders created a plan. Some fought visibly to convince our enemies they had won, while others went into hiding. This station contains 10,000 humans in stasis. We are just one of many outposts. Tay's inner eyelids blinked rapidly in surprise. There are more stations like this? That information is classified, Kyung said smoothly. Tell me about the galaxy now. Who are the major powers? Do the Krell still exist? Tay explained how the galaxy had changed. The United Galactic Council now governed most civilized space. The Krell had joined the Council after a series of wars left them weakened. They controlled fewer systems now but remained powerful. And what is the Council's policy toward rediscovered species? Kyung asked. Tay hesitated. This question revealed the human's sharp mind. The Council welcomes all peaceful species, he said carefully. But there are protocols. New species are typically placed under observation and protection until they demonstrate peaceful intentions. You mean containment, Kyung said flatly. A temporary measure, for mutual safety, Tay assured her. The Council would provide resources, cultural exchange. And study us like interesting animals, Kyung finished. Ambassador, my people were not hiding because we were weak. We were preparing. The meeting continued for 2 hours. Tae shared information about current galactic politics while Kyung revealed selected facts about human history. Behind her calm questions, Tae sensed she was gathering intelligence. Meanwhile, across the station, other humans were busy. Engineer Min and his team restored critical systems that had been dormant for millennia. In the science lab, June analyzed 3,000 years of galactic data absorbed from the Navar vessel. Below decks, combat specialist Yun quietly tested weapon systems that the Navar scans couldn't detect. After the meeting, Tae returned to his ship. Captain Hannah met him in the docking bay. "Well," she asked anxiously. "What are they like?" "Controlled. Intelligent. And very interested in the Krell," Tae replied. "I believe they have not forgiven the destruction of their homeworld." Hannah's skin darkened with concern. "Did you inform them that Council protocol requires them to remain here under observation?" "I suggested it," Tae said. The commander seemed unimpressed. On the command deck of his ship, Tae composed his report to the Council. He described the humans as potentially valuable allies but recommended caution. What he didn't write was the feeling of unease he couldn't shake. These humans didn't act like survivors grateful to be found. They acted like soldiers who had been waiting for a signal. Back on the station, Kyung met with her senior staff. "The Navar have contacted their council," Security Chief Day reported. "A containment fleet has been dispatched to our location." Kyung nodded calmly. "And the Krell?" Communications Officer Bo looked up from his station. "Long-range sensors show 3 Krell battleships have changed course toward our position. They'll arrive before the Council fleet." "Perfect," Kyung said. The Krell always were predictable. "Commander," asked Medical Officer Sang, "are we ready for this?" After 3,000 years, technology must have advanced. Engineer Min smiled for the first time since awakening. "According to the data we've analyzed, most species have actually plateaued. The Navar ship's propulsion system is only marginally better than what we had." "And the Krell?" He pulled up a schematic. "They're using the same weapons configuration they used against Earth." Kyung looked at the faces of her team, the first awakened of humanity's sleeping army. "Begin full station activation," she ordered. "It's time to show the galaxy that humans don't forget. And we certainly don't stay extinct." The Navar research vessel Stellar Seeker orbited at a safe distance from the human station. On the bridge, Science Officer Jean studied the readings on his screen with growing concern. "Captain Hannah," he called out, "I'm detecting strange energy signatures throughout the station. They don't match any of our previous scans." Captain Hannah moved to his station. "Explain." Jean pointed to several areas on the holographic display. "These sections we originally identified as living quarters are now showing power readings consistent with weapons systems. And these outer panels," he highlighted the station's hull, "appear to be shifting configuration." "Impossible," Hannah muttered. "A station this old couldn't have transformation capabilities." Ambassador Tae joined them, his normally calm demeanor disturbed. "Captain, I've just received orders from the Council. They want us to inform the humans that they must remain at this location until a proper containment fleet arrives." "Containment?" Jean asked. "The Council considers them a threat?" "The Council considers them an unknown," Tae corrected. "And unknowns are always contained until properly studied." Hannah's 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of deep thought among her species. "I don't believe Commander Kyung will accept containment willingly." Inside the station, that prediction was proving accurate. Commander Kyung stood in the newly activated Central Command Hub, surrounded by holographic displays showing every system in the station. Engineer Min stood beside her, pride evident on his face. "All primary systems are now at 85% capacity," Min reported. "The outer hull transformation can begin whenever you give the order." Kyung nodded. "And weapons?" "Defense shields are fully operational. Main cannons are charged but currently hidden within the station structure." Security Chief Day entered the command hub with urgent news.
Commander, long-range sensors have confirmed 12 Krell warships approaching our position. They'll arrive in 4 hours. Sooner than expected, Kyung noted calmly. The Krell always were eager for a fight. Should we begin transformation now? Asked Min. Not yet, Kyung decided. Let's see what Ambassador Tae has to say first. In a smaller meeting room than before, Kyung received the Navarre ambassador. She noticed immediately that his posture was more rigid, his manner less friendly. Commander, Tae began formally, the United Galactic Council appreciates your peaceful cooperation thus far. To ensure continued stability, the Council requests that your people remain at this location until diplomatic protocols can be properly established. You mean until we can be properly contained, Kyung replied. Tae's skin flushed a deeper blue. It's standard procedure for all newly discovered species. We are not newly discovered, Kyung interrupted. Humanity was a spacefaring civilization before most council races left their home planets. Nevertheless, Tae continued, a council vessel is en route to this location. They will provide resources and protection. How long until this vessel arrives? Kyung asked suddenly. Taken aback by the question, Tae hesitated. Approximately 6 hours. And are you aware that a Krell battle fleet will arrive in 4 hours? Tae's inner eyelids blinked rapidly in surprise. Impossible. The Krell couldn't know. The Krell have monitored this sector for centuries, Kyung said. Did you think they wouldn't notice your ship investigating a mysterious station? As Tae struggled to respond, Kyung continued. Ambassador, I suggest you return to your vessel and maintain a safe distance. What happens next may be alarming. After Tae departed, Kyung rejoined her team in the command hub. Begin transformation sequence, she ordered. But slowly. I want the Navarre to see just enough to worry, but not enough to flee. Throughout the station, hidden mechanisms activated. Panels that had appeared decorative slid aside to reveal weapon ports. Sections of the hull began to shift position, changing the station's overall shape from a research outpost to something more sinister. On the Stellar Seeker, alarms sounded as sensors detected the changes. Captain! Jean called out. The station is transforming. The bridge crew watched in amazement as the ancient human structure began to reveal its true nature. What they had thought was a simple survival outpost was becoming something else entirely, a massive warship of unprecedented design. This is impossible, whispered Hannah. Their technology shouldn't be this advanced. The humans didn't just hide, Tae realized. They were waiting. Preparing. All vessels, maintain distance. Hannah ordered frantically. Do not display aggressive posture. As the human station continued its transformation, the Krell battle fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. 12 warships arranged in attack formation, their weapons already charging. On the command deck of the human station, now revealed as the dreadnought Phoenix, Commander Kyung watched calmly as the Krell ships approached. They recognize us, observed Tactical Officer Sunday, they know what we are. Of course they do, Kyung replied. The Krell have passed down stories about us for centuries. We are their nightmare, the enemy they thought they had destroyed. Your orders, Commander, asked Security Chief Day. Kyung studied the Krell formation with the practiced eye of someone who had spent years fighting this enemy. Power all weapons but do not target yet, she said. Let them make the first move. After 3,000 years, I want the galaxy to see clearly who starts this fight and who finishes it. The Krell battleships moved into attack formation. Their ships were angular and sharp, painted with red markings that glowed against the darkness of space. Inside the lead vessel, Fleet Commander Zev looked at the human station with hatred. So the legends were true, he growled to his officers. The human vermin survived. His second-in-command stepped closer. Sir, the Council ordered no aggressive action until their diplomatic vessel arrives. The Council did not lose 3 colony worlds to these creatures, Zev replied coldly. Our ancestors knew the danger humans pose. They should have been wiped out completely the first time. He pointed at the transformed station. What had appeared to be a simple outpost had changed into a massive warship unlike anything in the current galactic fleet. All ships, attack pattern Delta, Zev ordered. Target their main engines first. No survivors this time. The Krell fleet opened fire. Brilliant beams of energy shot across space toward the human vessel. On board the Navarre research ship Stellar Seeker, Captain Hannah watched in horror. They're attacking without provocation. The Council explicitly ordered observation only. Ambassador Tay gripped the edge of a console. The Krell have always been aggressive, but this is beyond their normal behavior. Something about the humans terrifies them. They watched as the Krell weapons fire reached the human ship. Everyone expected destruction. The energy output was enough to cripple any modern vessel. Instead, the beams hit an invisible barrier and dissipated harmlessly. Inside the human dreadnought Phoenix, Commander Kyung stood calmly on the bridge. The weapon impacts didn't even shake the floor. Shield status, she asked. Shields holding at 98%, reported Security Chief Day. Their weapons are less advanced than we anticipated. Tactical Officer Sun analyzed the attack patterns. They're using standard Krell formations. 3 millennia, and they haven't invented new tactics. Commander Kyung watched the enemy ships with cold eyes. These were the descendants of those who had destroyed Earth. Who had hunted humans across the stars. Who thought they had committed genocide. Target their propulsion and weapon systems only, she ordered. Disable, don't destroy. Engineer men looked up in surprise. Commander? We could eliminate their entire fleet. And prove them right about us, Kyung replied. No. Let's show the galaxy exactly who the real monsters are. The Phoenix moved with impossible speed for a vessel its size. Weapons that had been hidden for thousands of years came to life. Precise beams cut through Krell shields as if they were paper, targeting engines and weapons with surgical accuracy. On the Krell command ship, systems failed across the board. Fleet Commander Zev watched in disbelief as his mighty fleet was disabled in minutes. Impossible, he whispered. How can they be this powerful? This was supposed to be a forgotten outpost. His communications officer turned with fear in his eyes. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. On the screens of thousands of ships across the galaxy, Commander Kyung's face appeared. Her expression was calm but determined. Attention all species of the galaxy. I am Commander Kyung of humanity's first vanguard. 3,000 years ago, the Krell Imperium attacked our homeworld without warning or mercy. They believed they had eliminated our species. They were wrong. She paused, letting her words sink in. We did not die. We did not surrender. We waited. We planned. Today, you have witnessed the difference between Krell aggression and human justice. They attacked with intent to destroy. We responded with restraint, disabling rather than destroying. The camera pulled back to show the bridge of the Phoenix, where humans worked at various stations with quiet efficiency. To the United Galactic Council, humanity does not recognize your authority to contain us. We were a spacefaring civilization when most of your member species were still discovering fire. We will rejoin galactic society on our own terms. On the Stellar Seeker, Ambassador Tay watched with a mixture of awe and fear. She's declaring their independence before they've even been officially recognized. Captain Hannah nodded slowly. And demonstrating they have the power to back it up. On the screen, Kyung continued her message. To those who wonder if we seek revenge for past wrongs, we seek justice, not vengeance. To those who would be our friends, we welcome peaceful relations. To those who would follow the Krell example and threaten our existence. Her voice didn't change, but somehow became more dangerous. Know this, the Phoenix is just one of many outposts awakening across the galaxy. Humanity's extinction was a myth. Our return is reality. As she finished speaking, signals began appearing throughout known space. In remote systems, abandoned stations, and hidden bases, ancient human outposts activated long-dormant beacons. The signal was simple but clear: humanity had returned.
On the bridge of the Phoenix, Commander Kyun looked out at the stars. After 3,000 years of sleep, the future was uncertain. But one thing was clear: humanity would never again face extinction alone. The galaxy would have to adapt to their return. And this time, humans were prepared.